Hey guys, and welcome back to a brand new video and a brand new episode of my F1 2018 modded career mode as Sebastian Vettel, and we are here for round number 5 for the Spanish Grand Prix. It's a very, very wet Spanish Grand Prix here at the Circuit de Catalunya, and we're going straight into qualifying as per usual. But if you guys did miss the last episode at Baku, then I do urge you to go check it out in the top right hand corner of your screen by clicking the card annotation, because it was an absolutely hectic race, guys. So I do urge you to go check that one out before you come back to this one. But jumping into Spain, a track that I do enjoy driving, especially with these cars. You know, it's a real fun track to drive, especially if you've got a good car underneath you. And I'm looking forward to attacking qualifying and hopefully having a good race weekend, because I feel like I've got a good car underneath me to try and obviously have a good race weekend and try and challenge for the race win as per usual. So jumping into qualifying in the wet conditions, full wet conditions, and I've got to say from the get-go, we got this awfully wrong. We went out with about 4 minutes to go as a team. We decided, you know what, it's about right, we go out now. And the track just started to dry out, because we knew that it was going to dry out at some point, but it never sort of happened. So we just thought, you know what, we're running out of time, so we just have to go for it on the full wets. And then on my lap, on the last corner, we got a screen freeze, and I went out into the gravel, which cost me my lap. We go P9 for the time being, but as you can see, guys are posting faster time on intermediates, and I have no time now to come in for inter, so I have to try it and set a competitive lap on the full wets. And as you can see, because of that mistake I made, it ruined my first attempt, and it also ruined my second one because it was on the main straight. And then on my final attempt, I was up on my delta, but I get it all wrong into turn 5, and I make another mistake. To be fair, my first mistake, because the other one was a screen freeze, but I make a mistake when it really mattered the most. And then to add insult to injury, out of the hairpin, you can all of a sudden hear my engine cut as we run out of fuel. And I thought I had enough to make it to the end of the lap, but we ran out, and unfortunately we could not improve, so we're going to get knocked out straight away in Q1, and we're going to be starting the race tomorrow from 17th place. We just got it all wrong. The weather caught us out right at the last minute. You know, I was debating whether to risk it going out for inters, because if I'd gone for the intermediates, let's say, if the track hadn't been in the conditions for intermediates, then I would have basically been on tyres that weren't capable of shifting the water, so I would have gone slow anyway. So I went for the safer option, but critically the game let me down through the final corner with a screen freeze, and then I made a mistake also on my last attempt. However, you know, it's not all I lost. It's only Saturday, so jumping into Sunday, obviously, we want to try and turn this one around. And just like on Saturday, we have full wet conditions to start the race. And according to the weather forecast, it's going to be full wet conditions transitioning all the way into dry conditions. So it's going to be a pretty interesting race, a wet to dry one here at Catalonia if the weather forecast is correct. So it's going to be pretty interesting, and hopefully it promises to be a very, very exciting race with plenty of overtakes, and hopefully a bit of a better one than the real life Spanish Grand Prix. But as you can see, there's Lewis Hamilton and Bottas, but we're now going to run you through the grid of the Spanish Grand Prix. Now, starting the race in pole position is going to be the man himself, Lewis Hamilton, Kimi Raikkonen, my teammate, alongside him on the front row. Then in the second row, we have Max Verstappen leading the Red Bull charge with Ricciardo just behind him. Then when we jump to row 3, a very impressive Nico Hulkenberg in P5 with Kevin Magnussen alongside him in the first of the Haas cars. Roman Grosjean alongside a very impressive Brendan Hartley in P8 with Alonso and Sainz bringing out the top 10 in their home race. Gasly and Perez on row number 6 with Ocon and Van Dorn in row 7. Then we have Stroll and Valtteri Bottas on row 8 there. Pretty surprising one, Bottas as well getting caught out by the conditions. And then we have Vettel, Leclerc, Sorokin and Ericsson rounding out the top 20. And that is your grid for the 2018 Spanish Grand Prix. But now it's time for the race. Let's do this. So here we are then on the grid for the Spanish Grand Prix. P17 on the grid after a bit of a disappointing qualifying, getting the strategy mixed up and not really getting the conditions sorted out, as did Valtteri Bottas, who's the man to my right-hand side. But an interesting race here at Spain, and we do have a pretty interesting strategy set up. So obviously, for this race, we do have a wet-to-dry situation. Now, we could be on these wets for a long time or a short time. It's sort of hard to tell based off of the icons on screen. So the strategy is sort of up in the air, really, and basically it's going to be one of them ones where the longer we stay on these tyres, the better our chances. So we're going to try and run nice and deep onto these full wets, then obviously eventually transition to intermediate, and then eventually end the race on dry tyres. So it's going to be an interesting race, mixed conditions. I haven't had one of these in a little while, so it's going to be interesting to see how it pans out. We're just over fueled slightly, but we're going to be saving quite a bit of fuel in these rain conditions. So hopefully it all works out okay for us, and fingers crossed we have a very good race. So with that being said, we're not going to hold on any longer, and we're going to jump straight into round number 5 for the Spanish Grand Prix. Okay then, here we go. We're going to get ready to the 5 red lights in Catalunya. Lights out and away we go, and it's a pretty okay start. Nothing spectacular, but it's good enough, and we're going to get off okay. But now we've got, I think, a Sabre on my inside. I can't work out who it is, but it's actually faster than me in a straight line as we go into turn 1. We've got to be careful here. Braking early, making sure we don't have any contact. I got Leclerc on my inside here in the Alfa Romeo, making sure we keep our front wing out of trouble as we go into turn 3. Going for the Alonso inspired move. The car's just understeering a bit. I'm trying to get the nose to work with me here, but I'm forced to the outside into turn 4. This is not ideal. I'm going to have to just wait and be patient here. Got Stroll going very slow in the Williams here. Going to look for the outside. Still on Bottas, side by side with the Mercedes. And we're going to go up the inside. All Stroll goes for the move. And he sort of covers off any attempt I had at making the move. Still side by side with Valtteri and Bottas here. Getting the traction on. We get past Valtteri. And now we're going to be right on the back of Stroll and Van Dorn, who are still going side by side here. So close. They tap tyres slightly. We're going to use that to get past Lance Stroll here and make the move on the Canadian. Van Dorn just sending me a bit wide with understeer. Van Dorn a bit slow out of turn 9 there, getting a bit wayward. And we're looking all over the back of Stoffel as we brake hard for the hairpin. Can we look for the outside? Do we have the grip this early on in the race? Not quite. Stroll's actually gone back up my inside. Sorry, Bottas has gone back up my inside there, but he just couldn't find the traction. But a brilliant start on lap 1 here. Absolutely chaotic stuff in amongst the pack. So exactly what we want. Luckily, keeping our car in one piece. And Van Dorn is just in front of us. So hopefully we can start picking these guys off one by one. The McLaren, we know, is not fast in a straight line. So Van Dorn is definitely vulnerable on this massive home straight. And here we go, picking up a slipstream. You saw in the start there, my straight line speed isn't exactly phenomenal either in this Ferrari, but Van Dorn's going to go defensive. We're going to pull right to the inside here. Side by side with the McLaren, I was going to say McLaren Honda there, but it's the McLaren Renault down into turn 1, get the move done. And that is a very nice overtake on the Belgian there. And we can now go after Esteban Ocon. We've got a bit of a slow-moving car here, and I think it's a Toro Rosso. It might be Hartley, who's just struggling to find some pace in these conditions, and he's dropping back a little bit. I wonder if he's got some front wing damage, but he's starting to form this little train of cars here, so it's going to allow us to make some moves as we're right on the back of Ocon as we get very close there under braking for the chicane. We're going to try and pick up some traction out of the chicane exit through the final corner now. Very close to Esteban Ocon here. We're literally pushing him through onto the pit straight. Here we go. Look at the straight line speed. We're just sort of tucking in behind the Force India here. I don't have the momentum to make the move, and Ocon can actually defend, but I'm going to go for it on the brakes though, just like I did with Van Dorn into turn 1, and that is a nice move. Ocon actually opened up the door in the end and let me through, so very nicely done indeed as we get past the Force India. Now we've got to try and get past his teammate Sergio Perez. Perez seems to be struggling a bit in these conditions in that Force India. He's all over the place as I just get a tank slapper. They're getting such good exit, but I lost the back end in 5th gear, which is pretty scary. But through the turn 9, over the crest right-hander in the slipstream of Sergio Perez here. He's going to go defensive a bit. I'm going to have a look in the brakes. Can we make it work? It's going to be close. Got my nose in there. But Perez just holds on around the outside. And credit to him for holding that one. We just didn't have the grip to get that done on the brakes. But we're looking quick. We're looking racy. And Hartley now is definitely, it might not be Hartley, I think there's someone in front of Hartley now who's holding someone up, but there is a massive train. I think it's a Red Bull, yeah, it's a Red Bull holding everybody up here, so that's allowing the leaders to really get away at the front, so we need to start getting past these cars if we want to have any chance of a podium. But here we go, good exit out of the final corner. This time, unlike with Ocon, we're actually going to get a bit of a slingshot effect because we're a little bit further back from Perez, so we're actually going to get the momentum we need to make the move. Perez goes defensive. I'm going to opt for the outside this time into turn 1, right on the outside, very close, but we've made it work beautifully, and the extra grip just paying off for me there, and we're now into 12th place, so making good progress so far. Right on the back of Pierre Gasly now, the Toro Rosso Honda, I was going to say McLaren Honda there. We're going to opt for the outside. We're going to switch to the inside aggressively though, into the hairpin. Alonso getting out of shape, up the inside of Pierre. He's on my outside here. We've got Ricardo who's going slowly in the Red Bull there, who's dropping through the field as we get past Gasly. So Ricardo with some issues I can see. I think he's right front side of the front wing's got a bit of damage from what I can see from back here. I might be wrong, but Ricardo definitely going slow, so this is our chance to get past some cars. Our hometown favourite, Alonso behind the other hometown favourite in Carlos Sainz. So both Spaniards in the points, but I'm about to ruin the party. And we're again offered a strategy switch here, and that is going to be, I'm going to presume, for intermediate. So it might be time for the intermediate. Cars are coming in, so this might be the one where people are going for intermediate tyres. So at the end of this lap, we're probably going to come in for the inters. But meanwhile, into turn 1, looking at Alonso here. Can we go for it? Oh, it's very close. We put our nose in. Alonso saw me coming last second. I'm going to try and switch back underneath him. The grip isn't great at the minute. We're going to go on the outside on Alonso. Pulling off an Alonso special on Alonso, finding the grip on the outside line. Bit of front wing damage though from Sainz there as we just tagged the back of him, so not ideal. Gonna try and nurse this car back to the pits and get a front wing change this lap hopefully. So it looks like everyone's coming in this lap for intermediates. We're going to come in and also get a front wing change. Ricciardo really holding out his pack. He just goes to show I've got the pace to keep up even with a damaged front wing. Raikkonen has come in, but we shouldn't get held up because he's quite a bit ahead of me. So here we go into the pit lane. Going to make sure we get it all slowed down for the speed limit here. No need to rush because we are going to lose more of our front wing if we hit any cars. But Ricciardo comes in. He's going to get his car fixed. Whether he gets his front wing changed, we don't know. We'll find out. But here we go. We're going to get our wing changed a little bit slower than mechanics from Raikkonen stop, which isn't ideal. So hopefully we can speed this up a bit. We're going to drop through the field quite a lot though, maybe right even to the back because of this front wing change here. So here we go, 11.1 stop. The guys who came in last lap for the undercut are going to gain massive ground, and we are going to drop down to last place, and we've got all the work to do once again here, which isn't ideal. I mean, we've gone up a few places now, but still we're 18th. We've got it all to do in this race, and all the progress we made after 6 laps is down the drain. So let's get the pace up and let's try and get past these cars. Right then, we are on the back of Brendan Hartley here as we go on to lap number 7. We're going to crank up the engine to rich mix and try and make these moves at the first time of asking. Purple final sector with the fastest man on the circuit. And there's Van Dorn, who's going to hang out to dry and staying out an extra lap on the full wets. Braking late into turn 1, making the move, and there we go. We get it done on Hartley beautifully there as Alonso gets overtaken by, I believe that was a Williams there. So making progress. We need to make these moves nice and quick. Right, so we have a little train of cars here formed by, I believe, Lance Stroll. He's in P9 or something. And we've got a chance of making a move here. We're getting very close to Alonso and Sirotkin. We're getting very hot on the brakes. Sirotkin gets hot on the brakes as well. And Alonso goes up his inside. We're going to get the switch back on Sirotkin. Not quite Alonso. And Sirotkin's going to hold it there on the inside. He's going to swing very wide there. We're going to have to try and use the aerodynamic grip in this car to get around the outside of Sirotkin. And we made it work. So there we go. We're past him for now. And now we're going to look to try and get past Fernando Alonso. I can see a Mercedes in there. I think it's Bottas, who's still not really progressed that much. So that's pretty good news for us to try and maybe get that Mercedes. But on to lap number 8 now. And we're chasing down the man with the plan in Spain, Fernando Alonso. Personal best lap. Could have been a lot better had we not had the issue. But good progress so far. Let's try and get past Alonso. We've got loads of weaving around in front. A 3-wide situation, I can see, with Bottas and Williams and a full senior, I think it is. So it's all kicking off here in Spain. Gasly just watching from a distance, and we're going to try and use this grip in turn 3 that we have to try and set up a move on Alonso. Getting the pedal down, back end slipping out, a little bit of a screen freeze there. It just ruins our momentum, and we have to get out of the move. But we're looking very quick at the minute as we push Alonso through turn 4. We're going to get the power on. Can we get on the inside? Yes, we do. We make it move. We're going to run very deep though and hit the back of Gasly almost, so we'll have to get out of the actual racing track itself. That allows Alonso back up the inside, and he actually managed to hold on to the move there. So frustrating. I mean, we just can't seem to make a move stick, which is exactly what I said we can't do. So I need to try and get Alonso next time, and we're going to get very close into turn 9. Just going to try and bring the nose back in, get the power down over the curbing, a little bit wide through there. Just ruins my momentum, but I have to get this move. Alonso goes for the move, little shimmy. We're going to get on the inside. Can we make it stick? Brake in late, inside line. Pick up the traction, short shift to 4th gear to get the initial spike of the turbo, and we've made it work. So we're now into 14th place. Great bit of traction through this final corner here. And look at this, we've got a massive run on Gasly, a bit of a screen freeze again, but personal best. Have we got the legs on the Honda engine here? It looks like we do have the legs just about, even though he's getting a slipstream from Perez. We're going to get the move done on the brakes into turn 1. Bit of a lock up here. Very close to Sergio. Thought I'd lost my front wing for a second there, but we've managed to hold on to it, and we've got ourselves into P13. So now let's try and get past Sergio Perez and Lance Stroll here. So we've got Ricciardo and Bottas just up the road. So those two are definitely guys we can race the entire Grand Prix here. And if we can finish in front of them, that'd be great for the championship. But we have to get past Perez and Lance Stroll. So here we go, out of turn 9, good exit speed. Perez is going to go defensive a little bit, so we're just going to pull to the inside. The AI can't really make their mind up when it comes to their line into that corner. We're going to look for the outside on Perez. Do we have the grip? Yes, we do. We just get the car in front, and we made the move work for no one to overtake on Sergio. And now we've just got to try and get past a very, very fast Williams of Lance Stroll, especially with our straight line speed deficiency. It's going to be a real challenge, this one. So Rich Mix is going to be a must on this pit straight to try and get past the Canadians. Here we go, picking up a nice bit of traction through the final corner. Nice momentum. And there we go, we've got the run. Rich Mix enabled. We're going to try and fly past Stroll. Personal best, 36.1 into some clean air. And we've got the momentum we need so we can actually switch down the engine now and we can now try and chase after Bottas and Daniel Ricciardo. 33.7, look at that, a 2.3 improvement over my previous personal best just in clean air alone. Massive difference, and we caught Bottas slightly on that last lap, but his pace is actually pretty good, so we have to really find some extra time to really make the inroads to catch Bottas here. Okay, this is good for us. We got Ricciardo and Bottas held up by a brilliant Charles Leclerc performance here. Charles Leclerc in P8 in the Sauber, so doing a really good job there in that car, but I think Ricciardo, Bottas and myself are about to ruin his party and sentence him into an outside of the points position very shortly here, but we're looking very quick at the minute. It's a question of trying to make the move and trying to line it up at the right time. We get very deep into the hairpin here. Bottas also gets deep and doesn't allow me to turn to the corner there, which is sort of frustrating as we set a purple middle sector. But we're looking very quick at the minute now, and my car definitely seems to be a little bit better in these tyres than Bottas. So even though we've not set a fastest lap, we are looking good. So let's see how this pans out. I'm sort of trying to weigh up my options at the minute with strategy, because this rain apparently isn't going to go for another 10 minutes yet. So if I guesstimate around lap 15 to 16, which is my prediction, then we can maybe go hard to the end and not have to do another stop, and that way give us the best possible chance in terms of strategy to try and finish as hard as possible. But we'll have to see how that pans out. But here we go in the slipstream with Bottas. We're not going to make the move, and I don't think Ricciardo's going to make the move on Leclerc either, because that Sauber's actually pulling away in a straight line. So fair play to him, making the move and holding on to it. We're going to have to try and pass Bottas the old-fashioned way and try and catch him out in a bit of a different corner, not in the most obvious of positions, because that Mercedes is a very good car. Okay, I'm literally pushing Bottas here as we go into turn 9. Can we try and pick up the traction that I need? It's not too bad. A little bit of rich mix, but I don't think I'm actually really close enough here for the move. I'm just going to take it easy in the brakes. And Bottas hits the back of Ricciardo, losing an end plate there. Something has not gone well with the brakes of that Mercedes, and Ricciardo's made the move on Leclerc. We're going to make the move on Bottas here, but Bottas still on my inside, just keeping his nose in there, but he's got front wing damage. So we're going to try and go on the outside of Bottas, and we make it work. And now we've got Leclerc in front of us as Ricciardo's actually made the move now. So fair play to him. I think he might have lost a bit of front wing damage on Leclerc as well, as Bottas hit the back of him. But here we go. Leclerc actually comes in, so that Sauber is off of those tyres. Whether he's in for dries, I'm not sure, or another set of inters, we'll have to find out. But here we go, up into P9 now, soon to be P8, as Ocon is also in the pit lane. And we're now going to try and chase down Daniel Ricciardo. So Kimi's in the pit lane. It looks like everybody's going to come in for another set of inters. Maybe they can't get theirs to last. But look at mine. Mine are pretty worn, but they're not super worn out. So I'm not really sure why people are coming in so early. So hopefully Ricciardo might come in here. I'm going to fully expect it, but he doesn't. He actually stays there for a bit longer, which is interesting. But we just did a purple middle sector, so we're still quick, got some good pace, keeping Ricciardo in our sights as we almost do a personal best there, 2 tenths shy of matching it. But we're looking good. Track's drying out now, you can really notice it. And we've got a yellow flag into turn 1, so let's see what's happened here. No retirement, and I think someone might have gone for a spin, and it looks like it's a Ferrari. It might be Kimi Räikkönen. Yes, it might be Kimi. Räikkönen's gone for an issue into turn 1, so I'll catch that back on the replay after the race, but something has happened with my teammate, so not ideal. Right, Ricciardo comes in, so that's going to free me up, and I'm going to go straight into P7. It looks like everybody's actually coming for another set of intermediates here. We've got more cars in the pit lane as we match our personal best. Magnussen's coming in, as does Hulkenberg, all of them on fresh inters, so this could be a really decisive move from the AI, because they're just giving me 3 positions here. Now I just need the track to actually dry out, because if it stays in this sort of semi-damp conditions, I'm going to come unstuck on very worn tyres. So I need now the track to start drying out. We've got another car in the pits in the form of Romain Grosjean, so we're going to get promoted into 4th place now, but it looks like the AI's pace on the fresh tyres is a little bit too quick for me, and I think actually Hulkenberg might start catching me. So the rain has now stopped, which is interesting. So at any point now it's going to be a switch to dry tyres, I think. Hamilton just set at 33.3 at the front of the pack. That's just the pace I can't really match at the minute, which is frustrating, because I do still think I'm going for the race win, but if Hamilton's setting that sort of pace, then I don't think I'm going to be touching him anytime soon. My tyres are starting to struggle now big time. I'm losing grip. I'm getting a pretty big understeer, and as you can see, my front left especially is really starting to let go now. My pace is still not too bad, but the tyres just aren't with me anymore, and I really need the track to now dry out. The also slight other inconvenient is the fact that Räikkönen is right in front of me, so whenever the dryers become the tyre, we might have to stack. So I sort of need to try and call this one a lap before, really, but I don't really feel tempted to, because the track still feels very intermediate-ish, even though it looks bone dry. The spray coming off of the tyres suggests to me that it's still prime time intermediate. Okay, we're getting offered an alternate strategy here, and Kimi hasn't come in, so we're going to go for it. We're just going to go for it. we're going to come in for the hards, and we're going to hope it works. We're going to be the first person in, so the track might be a little bit moist. Just got to take it easy, make sure we don't speed, but this is going to be interesting. Kimi actually stays out. DRS is now enabled. This might be the one. This could be the call. I don't trust the track completely because of the way it looks, because it looks very greasy, but we'll see as we get held up an absolute treat there, but hopefully we can make this up on the lap. We're not going to undercut Kimi, but we might gain a hell of a lot of time on him and get very close to him when he comes out of the pits, but this lap has to be absolutely perfect. We have to remain on the dry line as much as possible, so let's just get it slowly out of the pit exit and get onto the dry line, and now we can actually try and push a bit on this outlap. Okay, Raikkonen has just come in. Purple middle sector. This is going to be pretty close. I don't think it's going to be super close. I mean, you never know. I might undercut him by quite a bit, but the grip's getting better as the lap goes on. At first, I didn't think I gained that much time, but now towards the end of the lap, I definitely think I've got the edge when it comes to the slow corners, mechanical grip. So let's see. Kimi was about 5 seconds up the road. Will I have been able to make up that time? We'll have to find out. Here we go. We're up to speed. Grosjean now in the pit lane. Where is Kimi? Fastest final sector. And Raikkonen is just up the road, exiting now. So as I expected, not really close enough to go for the undercut. But we are now on dry tyres, and we'll be going to the end of the Grand Prix as they get it all wrong into turn one. They're getting it way too hot. Too much confidence there. So let's try and get this one home. There we go. Fastest lap as expected, 27.5. But that is now going to be a lap time that gets destroyed as the times start to tumble. So let's see if we can try and catch Kimi. I feel confident though on this hard tyre. Kimi's pace is way too quick at the minute. I can't keep up. But 21.9 from Raikkonen. Also Verstappen's very quick as well. Hamilton's definitely the slowest guy out of the top four, but we're not going to catch Kimi at this pace. Unfortunately, it's just too quick. With a little bit of bridge mix assistance, that is the best I could do at 21.6. Raikkonen's still faster than me though. I did gain a little bit in the last lap, but he's got traffic he's trying to get through. So overall, I think this is the best we can achieve this race. We've got a yellow flag for some reason. Someone's put over and it's Raikkonen. My teammate's out of the race. Big game changer. That promotes me to the podium, but as a team, we lose big points. Not ideal. Raikkonen out of the Spanish Grand Prix. Another personal best, but Verstappen is still faster than me in the Red Bull, and Hamilton's even more faster still. So there is no way we're getting anything better than third place today. Well, the end of the race sort of fell flat on its face in terms of action, but I'm still very happy with the performance here today. Twice coming back pretty much from the back in this race, and the pace was very good in the car in the wet conditions. In the dry, not so much. We never would have won the race on pure merit, but we are going to come home for a brilliant third place and a well-deserved 15 points and an incredible Sunday turnaround there. But a very good race for us. Hamilton wins. He says the fastest lap on the last lap of the Grand Prix, just to put a statement that he was absolutely untouchable here this afternoon. And Verstappen gets a very impressive second place in the other Red Bull car. But overall, a brilliant weekend, and I'm very happy with how the car performed. So can't complain. We're going to Monaco, which is the next race, with a good bit of momentum, and I believe we are going to be there or thereabouts when it comes to the championship. But pretty good race for us. Hamilton, well-deserved win for him. He completely controlled the race from start to finish, so he takes the 25 points home, and he'll be ecstatic with that one. But we'll be back in the next race in Monaco. I look forward to Monaco. It's always a good track for me, and I love pushing the car to the limit around there. So hopefully we can have a little bit more of an interesting race in the real-life Grand Prix in Monaco, though, that's for sure. But Ricciardo there, P5 from the Red Bull, also good recovery from him because we was battling him way down the order at one point. So overall, a pretty good race for us, and we take the third step on the podium. The best we could have done today because we did not have the pace to touch Hamilton or Verstappen. And realistically, we didn't really have the pace to touch Raikkonen either. He was the fastest guy out of the top three, but unfortunately, he retired. So big points loss for us as a team. But overall, that is it for the Spanish Grand Prix, and we're now going to move into the final race results, drivers and constructor standing to see how everything shapes up going into the next race in Monaco. So looking at the final race results, we come home in a third place behind Hamilton and Verstappen. Hulkenberg gets a brilliant P4, unfortunately misses out once again on a podium in Formula 1. Daniel Ricciardo, good P5 for him on a good recovery drive for both of the Haas cars, finishing where they started in a very impressive 6th and 7th place there. Esteban Ocon, Sergio Perez and Charles Leclerc ran out the points. Good points there for the Alfa Romeo driver, and Alonso just misses out in P12, as does Carlos Sainz in P13 there. Further down the order, Bottas can manage P15 after having a pretty horrid race for him, and also Kimi Raikkonen. Now, unfortunately, my teammate DNFing from the Grand Prix. But in terms of the driver standings, you can see Hamilton leads the way by 13 points going into Monaco. We hold on to our second place, and Hulkenberg and Magnussen move up the order there. Raikkonen, unfortunately, is still in P10 and only on 16 points for the season. Just can't get going this season so far, the Iceman. But in terms of the constructors, as you can see, we get overtaken by Red Bull Racing as they get good points, and we drop down to third place, and the Mercedes lead the way with 134 there. But it's all pretty tight at the top, so it's going to be very interesting interesting in the coming races to see how that all progresses. But other than that, that is it for this episode, guys, of the F1 mod career. And if you have enjoyed it, then please do slap a like on the video. Let's try and smash 200 likes for this episode, guys. Also, subscribe to the channel if you're new around here for plenty more F1 daily content. And also, do turn on notifications to not miss a single upload from me in the future. And other than that, guys, do check out the 2 videos on screen if you have missed them. But other than that, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in my next video very soon. Goodbye.